That's why I'm saved. That's why I'm saved. That's why I'm saved. Safe in His Let me rest in the meadows grass, and He leads me beside the quiet stream. He restores my failing health, and He helps me to do the simple stuff. That's why I'm saved. That's why I'm saved. That's why I'm saved. Saved in His arms. In the storm. When the storm
And welcome to the Sister Chat with LaVon McMillan Smith. And we are here. Are you there? Hello. How are you?
Hello.
Hello.
How are we doing is the question.
We good. Good.
You doing good?
Still here.
I'm playing multiple roles. So if y'all see hips, that's why. Because I'm engineering here and I'm speaking right here. Look, baby, we make it do what it do. It's called the new quarantine. What can I say?
Grand on that.
Good afternoon, evening, everybody.
And we
Y'all
have
are like, hold up. Y'all giving me life right now.
Oh, really?
Cause y'all sitting back, y'all got on y'all shades and your glasses, and you under the umbrella like you at the beach.
The umbrella, y'all see it? Y'all see it? I got it going on. Wait. I'm ready to show you just how bougie I really am. So, my engineer can't be with me today, but he gave me we've been doing this outside thing because we weren't able to get the big screen. So we had movie night outside, but it was hot. So let me tell you how bougie we are. See my fan?
Stop. I can't. Come out.
You want to see it again? again?
No.
I gotta show it again.
Show it again.
I don't have the patio.
No.
Boom! Look at it. Look at it. Look at the fan. Look at the fan. Look at the fan. Look at the fan.
You gotta stay cool.
I press the button. I press the button and it moves for me. Okay.
And one thing you can say is that we make it work.
Look, I was like, okay, son. He went and he got the what did he get? He went and got the TV and put it out front with the chair and blocked it so nobody else could see it and no bugs or nothing. It was in the chair, boosted, nice and comfortable and secure. And we had to push back and we both were sitting in our chairs and we had movie night.
So Shauna, it sounds like you are at the beach.
Yeah.
It sounds like every 30 seconds you hear the waves crashing.
I was thinking the same thing.
Well, see, I can't get to the beach. So this is going to be as good as it could get. You know, just saying. And that's what happens when people look at you and they be like, and you can say, they just don't know who got my back. Hey.
As the wind ushers through.
Okay. So
I feel like y'all about to go somewhere.
Honey, we going.
Wind blowing, ushering through, like water, refreshing, newness.
Ooh,
I think it's about to be something up in here.
You better speak it into existence. Why don't you speak it?
I love that. Yeah.
Speak it, because God knows we have had some rivers that we have crossed and they weren't all bridges. And that was the reason why we now have Vonnie Boo with us. So let me tell you about Vonnie Boo. To see Vonnie Boo, you see this little small pet young lady. I mean, little small pet like Kim. She's smaller than you probably. And she just
I'm 5'3". How tall are you?
5'4".
Okay, so y'all understand each other.
We petitums.
Yeah.
Y'all the ones that when y'all go on the bookshelf, y'all just go right in the bookshelf and y'all fit in. And people just don't even know until they pull you out, open you up. And when they open you out, it just come out like, wait a minute. Did you see the movie Over the Edge? Remember the movie Over the Edge?
I don't remember that. You gotta tell me about that.
Y'all gotta look it up. So it's a part where they turn the TV on and it's a Viacom TV. And it comes on and it's like, and you know how when either the movie come on or the TV come on, or you better yet, your phone comes on when you turn it off, it comes on real life and it goes. That's what happens with y'all. Y'all, this quiet book that nobody knew was in the shelf, and then the minute y'all open it, it comes out.
You better come on.
Trying to close you, and they be trying to close you, and they be looking around like, wait a minute, and you be.
Guess what? I received it. I'm accepting it.
Because when I saw her first meeting, she was on the choir stand. And she was like, hi. I'm like, hi. And she had a cute little daughter. I'm like, hey, bud. And her daughter looked at me and turned her head.
Yeah, that little girl.
I said, oh, don't baby turn their head to me unless they related to me. And then later on realize they love me and can't stay away from me. And what happens? There she go, dick with my baby. Hey, boo. And for all y'all who don't know, that's my huggaboo right there. That's the one right there. I don't know if she still hugs me like she used to, because when they get older, they don't, that love thing just.
Oh, she missed you. Trust me. She missed you.
Me. There we go. So she already told me she got a mask. So we're going to have to make it happen. Right, boo?
Look, now she all quiet.
Of course.
She was talking about this the whole time. No, and then now you hear she over just shaking her head.
She's the only woman that can find me. And when I say find me, I could be in a crowded room of 1,000 people. And I'll feel something, grab my legs and look down. It's her.
That's the truth.
Thousands of people. Nobody can find me Everybody be like, where's Shauna at? She disappears. And they be like, if you find Jalen, you'll find Shauna. The boys are jealous of Jada. They be like, you just had to get a baby.
Background talk about, yeah, they are.
A girl with a J. And the minute she comes around, that's it. That's her.
That's her.
But to bring it more to subject to what's really going on is about all of that. She's a mother. She was a wife. She's a book art. She has her own child book. And her child book was related to the struggles of her son, correct?
Well, the children's book, the first one is actually about a child with autism. So I work in early intervention. So some of the children that I work with, they're diagnosed with autism. So that first one was about autism. The second one that we're working on now is his story. We're sharing his story of being born premature, and then later on having feeding issues and a feeding tube. So.
And what was the name of the book? Wasn't it a book talking about something not like me or something, or why me, or look like me, or something like that?
What about me? What about me? That's the one about the child with the that's on the spectrum. Yes.
And you're a praise dancer.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that one. I know you know that one, but only the church folk know that one. But yes, I am a praise dancer.
And when she go in, she go in. And the reason why I brought that out, because when I looked at her story today, and it said, okay, I'm going to get emotional. So let me let y'all know right now. I had already put it out there. I said, bring your glasses and bring your bottles. I already told y'all. I brought you beauty bottles. And I said, oh, yeah, bring your tissues. And y'all already know on the sister chat, every now and then church comes in to look at her and everything she's going through. And then when you think about all the other women that's going through too, they look at you and they swear you got it all going. They swear everything is perfect. They swear everything is lined up. They swear ain't no problems, ain't no issues. They swear your finances is checked, your house is checked, your relationships is checked. Hey, they swear you checked because you got that, what she got right there on her face, that big smile. And then you got to think about the song, because it says,
Go ahead, because that's one of my songs. That's my favorite.
That's why I'm safe
in his.
That's why I'm safe
in
his arms. When the billows cease to roll,
come on now,
everything stops.
You about to make me praise dance up in here.
When there is no fountain, no relief, no incoming escape, or whatever it may be that you stand in need of. When it ain't happening, and you just there. God is saying, I'm here.
And they wonder how you're able to support them when you can't support yourself. How you can put dinner on somebody else's plate, but don't know where yours is.
I don't know how quick we going into this interview, because I want to say something right there, just right there. Just right there.
I'm going to bring you to the screen and let you do something.
So just that, what you said, just putting food on the table, it was times where I just didn't have it. I would wake up and that morning and just pray and be like, God, like, I need your help. Like, I need you right now, because I don't know how these kids are going to eat later. And sure enough, I would leave the house with this smile that y'all see right now, because nobody knew my pain. And then God would send the angel in the form of another person. And the person would just come and ask me how I was doing. And I would still keep that same smile and say, I'm fine. And they say, no, you're not. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. They say, no, you're not. You worried about something, or you need something. And still, because I'm me and because of my ego and because of my pride, I would still say, no, I'm okay. But God knew that and sent the message to that person. And when I tell you that night my kids ate. All I did was pray. I still did not ask. I asked God, and that was it. And left it there. But that person knew, and that the Spirit sent it to them and told them that her kids need to eat. And they supplied. Well, God supplied it, but they were the vessel that would give it to us.
Mm.
And that happened more than once with more than one person. And when I tell you that, all I did was pray. That's why when you play that song is the truth. Because all I did was pray. All I did was pray.
You know, I trying to reset because I'm kind of dark here. Thank you for allowing me that moment to be quiet. Because I can't tell you how many times that has happened. I can't tell you how, if it wasn't for Kim, the miracle of a blessing for me, and me to be able to bless somebody else as a result of her blessing me. And that's why I say it's so important for you to be careful who you do, what you do to people. Because you never know who that person is that you're doing that to. You have no idea of who that person is that you've hurting, who blessed you. You have no idea who you hating on. And you doing better than them. But because from your perspective of your eye range, I always tell people, if you only had an idea of what goes behind my door, you have no reason to hate on me.
All the way up to the last second.
I'm not looking or doing as well as you think I am. But because of the grace of God,
yes, Lord. Yes.
I can move and walk forward. Now, I know some people walking in here today, they're like, oh, they went to church today. Today is a gospel segment. It's not a gospel segment. This is a for real segment. This is a life segment right now. This is what really happens that people don't want to have the conversation about. We having a very uncomfortable conversation right now. The how you make your conversation with that smile on your face. But then we're going to also talk about the different things that's going. Kim, are you all right, my sister? Because I haven't been able to put the disclaimer out yet, and I just see you rocking and looking and rocking and.
No, I was talking to my mom. So we're transparent, Levon. We're transparent on the show. Yeah. My mom is having some issue with her eyes today, so the light is bothering her. So we might have to go to the ER, but kind of just playing it by ear. So that was me talking to her. So if you see me mute out and go like this, that's what's happening.
Well, all of us.
What I will say, but I do have something to say.
Uh-oh.
In the midst of all of this, like everybody's hitting on some very like valid points about God being provider, God allowing you to be a blessing even when you're still trying to figure out your blessing. I've had days where I didn't know how I was going to eat. And because of pride, I say because of ego, I say because of just my thing is I'll get through it. I'll be okay because I know who he is and I know who I am in him. But at the same time, I've been in a position where if I had to go out, people be like, oh, here's a plate. And they not even know that I was in need of. Or I might need gas in my car. I'm on E. I don't know how something's going to happen. And by God using somebody, that person would bless me and I'll be able to do what I needed to do. As an artist, we've been talking in just this few moments, we've been talking about self-sacrifice. And when you sacrifice and when you give God a yes, and when you tell him, however you move, however you want me to move, I'll move. You know, what you want me to say, I'll say. Where you want me to go, I'll go. There's a lot of self-sacrifice in that. But when that happens, you allow him, you afford him the opportunity to show up and show who he is. And so there's a lot of, we understand that when we sacrifice, when we go through, when we're lacking, we know that God is Jehovah Jireh. We know that he's a provider. We know that he's a way of escape. We know that he gives us peace. We know all of that. And because it's embedded in our hearts, because it's in our minds, it's in our spirits, it goes wherever we go. And because he is who he is, he's omnipresent. When we go, he goes.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's backwards. When he goes, we go.
How about that? How about
When
that?
he lead me, I will
When
follow.
he goes, we think we got to go somewhere. Oh, I'm running over here real quick because I got to do. When he's like, I got to do. So you follow me and you think you got to do, but it's really me in the do. So when you get there, it's going to get done.
And he was already there. Already there.
That's why I call
Already
it the
there.
That's why I call it the vessel. That's why I call it the vessel. Because you, as long as you are in place to where you're supposed to be, then what's supposed to happen is going to happen.
Amen.
But you might be where you need to be. And somebody's probably figuring out, what does this have to do with the smile and not knowing who got my back? That's what it has to do with. Because a lot of us is wondering, how are we going to make it? How are we going to get through this? This whole pandemic thing happened. What am I going to do now? Where am I going to go now? But yet some of us were still smiling. Things were still happening. People was like, yo, I got to make this happen. I don't know how to make it happen. And you gave it. And they're like, yo, you gave it. No, I didn't give it. I just happened to be at the right place at the right time to receive it, to know that when you asked for it, I was supposed to have it to give it. See, a lot of us think that some of the blessings that we get is supposed to be ours. It ain't ours. Some people believe that their stories are our stories. Nope. Those stories is because somebody needs to hear it. Somebody is dealing with autism right now, and somebody's child is sitting on the situation of, what about me? And then there's some children, they don't even have autism. There's just some children, period, that are sitting there and saying, what about me? And you that
Well, something shifted.
Yeah,
Something shifted. It's okay, but it shifted. Can you bring your computer closer to you?
Okay.
Okay, bring it back down. That's better. Can you bring the top of it? There we go. Beautiful.
There you go. There you go. It sounded like the waves was crashing.
But another shift.
Y'all don't understand. Y'all don't understand. Listen, you don't understand. That's exactly what happened and what was supposed to happen. Because remember them, you look, you ever had that crash in your life? That tidal wave that came and just, y'all was supposed to hear that. Y'all was supposed to see. That was supposed to be the virtual effect of y'all getting hit by a, y'all was get hit. Did you get hit? All I want to know is, did you get hit? I want to know, did you get hit? That's what that was. It ain't had nothing to do with the adjustment of the system of the computer. It ain't had nothing to do with it. It ain't had nothing to do with it. I told y'all think y'all blessings are y'all's.
Listen. I'm just thinking, I had a conversation earlier today. And my life has shifted in a matter of a week. And I've been in position to help other people get in position. And in my getting in position, I thought it was for me. And then in that, I sacrificed even more by just giving. And I realized today that God put me in position to allow people to be blessed and so they could shift and be in a better place.
Mm.
And a lot of times, and not only that, but it put me in a leadership position that I had no idea that I would be ready for, equipped for, or even had the desire to do. And so a lot of times, even like Levon, like I've helped throughout the city of Philadelphia, I've helped multiple praise dance ministries come off their feet, getting them started and moving. And what I realized is every time you allow yourself to be open to give of your time, your resources, your talents, your treasures, God has a funny way of elevating you.
Yep.
And when you are about his business,
Come on, Kim.
and you allow, even in your toughest times, you still move and do his business. He's setting you up for elevation. He's setting you up for blessing. He puts you in position where he makes you learn quick. And so much to the point where you don't have a choice. Because it's him saying, I got something that I need you to do. And only you can do it. Only you can do this for this group of people right now in this season. And so if it's waving a flag, if it's lifting and twirling and leaping and whatever it is, whatever you're giving, know that when scripture says you reap what you sow, and there's seed time and harvest, baby, when you plant those seeds, when you give, when you do, when you sacrifice, when you say yes, expect the more, expect the greater. But also in that, know that to whom much is given, much is required. And most people don't understand what that means. But when you get elevated and he's giving and elevating, it's like, okay, there's more that comes. And he's equipping you for it. You might not like what you're going through during that time, but that's the requirement. It's the requirement for you. And not everybody's requirement is the same, because we're not all designed the same. But I just had to, like, it's amazing how it's just like with the disciples. Oh, how are we going here? How are we going here?
Come on.
It's just like with the disciples, right? When Jesus came and he met each one of them individually, they didn't sit down for days, weeks, hours, a year, and try to decide what they were going to do.
Well,
they made a choice in that moment. They recognized who he was. They saw the face. They heard the sound. They felt the unction. So they went and they did, and they followed. So you're not always going to be prepared for what it is. You're not always going to be prepared, but he's going to equip you in that moment, in that season. Now you want to learn in the process. And because it's uncomfortable, it's new, you haven't had to deal with it before, it's going to feel uncomfortable because nothing is going to be familiar. But after it's done, you can look back. Oh, so that's how you do that. Now you can teach. Now you can guide. Now you can lead. Now you can, because you had to go through the process. I don't know why I don't know. I'm going to sit back now.
You You sure?
You
I'm
can
great.
tell,
I'm great. Send a
you can
boomerang
tell
to the
them
both of
no.
y'all.
For now, I'm
I'm
gonna sit
going
that
to
now.
throw a boomerang out the both of y'all because me and her had that
Woo.
same conversation with the mere fact of she was at one location and then she was teaching praise dancing over another ministry at another location. Was wondering how was she going to be at both places at the same time and had a book signing in another state. Mind you, you still got to take care of them kids. And that one kid that was in the hospital at the same time, all this was going on, and you wonder how she was able to stand there and smile. Somebody on here is going to understand today. You have been put in a position, and you got to be careful what position you was put in, because some of us wasn't even asked. Some of us didn't even give a yes. Some of us was just told this is what's going to happen, and this is how it's going to happen, and you had to go. And you got to be careful when you say certain prayers like, Lord, please enlarge my territory. Because when he enlarges your territory comes also, oh, does other responsibilities come ahead? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I don't know if everybody's still on the line with me, but I do want to say hi to Alicia, Talissa, Cara. Thank you for telling me that we was having a little sound problem. Denise and Marie and Bakir. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you guys are sharing because we gonna get delivered today. We not only we gonna get delivered, but we gonna be redeemed.
Mm.
We're all gonna be redeemed today because somebody is sitting here and they're being beat up, beat down, and don't understand what's going on. But let me let you know and let me learn you something. It ain't about you. It ain't even for you. I remember Bishop, help me out, y'all. Bishop Louise Williams, right? We had we had it was a Women's Day, and she said that we had little springs on our shoulders, so that when things come, the land on our shoulder, it could just spring without too much of a heavy load.
Mm.
Then I remember hearing that we were built in from the rib of Adam. I'm talking to us women today. And by us being built from that bone alone is a strong bone. We had to be strong to deal with some of the things that we have to deal with in life. So my hat goes off to every woman who crown tilts or shifts through this thing called life. But I want you to understand, if nobody else know your worth, you know your worth and you appreciate your worth. And you are worth it and you are enough. And that's not even with a hashtag. So come on now, tell us about this job you do daily. This job with the youth, I believe, with the young people. How does that?
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
sorry, Jada
how does that
muted
reflect?
my mic.
How does that reflect and change your life?
Um, so that actually started out personally because it's with Jordan being born premature. He started out receiving early intervention at 6 months. So I had always been in education, but never had heard about early intervention before. So he was at 6 months. He should have been like head, using his pushing his head up. He was in the NICU for 3 months. So when he came home, he had the first 3 months of his life, he had pretty much, laid in the incubator at the NICU. So the doctor said that, he needed the early intervention services. So they came to the house, they did the evaluation. They said, yeah, he's at like a 3-month old instead of a 6-month old. So he had occupational therapy, he had physical therapy, and later on at about 3 or 4, he had speech therapy. And one of the therapists has said to me, you would be good at this position because some of the strategies that they were showing us to do to work with him, he caught on really fast. And they said, well, you would be, because what we teach you, you work with him while we're not here, and then when we come back, he pretty much has it. So I took into consideration what she said, and I seeked out an independent contractor position, and I've actually been doing it for 11 years now. So I've been working with children with developmental delays from birth to 3, and then sometimes I contract for 3 to 5. But it's been like truly a blessing, because not only was I able to help my child, but I was able to help other children who were dealing with the same thing. And one of the things that I love about it is because on paper it's telling them that they can't do something. So their goal, like they're writing like, this child can't talk, or this child is unable to use words, the amount of words, or this child is unable to walk, or this child is unable to hold their head up. But by the time I'm finished with them, they're able to do what it said that they couldn't do.
And with that,
and that part right there, I just thank God that I'm able to be in that process of them achieving that goal, because it is a goal that we write out for them, and every time they reach that goal, then we can move on to the next milestone. So the fact that I have I guess God has his hands on me, I have my hands on them, for them to move into the next spot.
Yes.
You know what that reminds me of?
Yes.
Not just myself, but when people discount you.
Boom.
Come on now.
And they don't know how God fashioned you. And they don't know who you are.
You better say something, girl.
And they use only what man knows as a measure. It makes me think about Moses. He had a speech impairment. We all know that. Those who read scripture, study scripture, he had a speech impairment.
Yep.
A lot of our children have different impairments. My brother was a major, he stuttered as a child, could not get a word out for years. He has his own construction business. He's dealt with multi-million-dollar contracts. He's a leader. He's moving. He's an artist. But in medicine's mind, and what man thinks or says, and according to the numbers, the statistics, they already count you out. I was teaching performing arts in the elementary school. There was a young man who was in first grade. When he would come to class for performing arts, he was vibrant. He was talking, he was moving, he was dancing. And when his teacher saw it the first time, she started crying. She was like, oh my goodness, I've never seen this in him. We didn't think he could do it. Don't discount him. Because it says something on paper and he's just not interested in what you're talking about.
Say it one more time.
He's just not interested in what you're talking about. Or his learning style.
There you go.
His learning style is than what the school board has put in place on how you teach.
Is there a style?
How you measure.
Is there a style? Really?
And so the rubric has to change for him. Don't put a stamp and say they can't. Or because they act a certain way, you lessen your expectation on their possibility. Don't do that. You know, a lot of people have learning, they call them learning challenges. It's a challenge because you ain't catch on to how they learn. It's not their challenge, that's your challenge. You figure it out. You get to know them. You get to know how they talk, how they move, their triggers. Take the time. But what happens is, this is what I have to teach. This is the amount of time that I have to teach it. I have to meet all these requirements because the state says so. But the state's not in your classroom. The state don't know that child. So it's a difficult thing, but it's that Moses syndrome. Somebody told him that his way of talking was different. He felt like he wasn't doing what everybody else was doing, how they were doing it. So what does he do? He shrinks. But his story has been is etched into history's cornerstone. And now people, centuries later, millions of years later, are all following his lead, knowing that there is possibility. I'm a dancer. I didn't get trained at an early age. I didn't go through what a lot of other people went through, but I love to dance. I was a hip hop dancer. So we know hip hop, you do what you feel, how you feel. And it's like, oh. But because people told me that I had to be a certain thing or a certain level or be able to do a certain something, I discounted myself. You know? And it's one of those things where, okay, but at the end of the day, I have done more than the average dancer has done that's trained all of their lives. The things that they aspire to do, God said, no, you. You know what I'm saying? So when God says it's supposed to be, it's going to be. And just because somebody discounts you or labeled you, the moment they do that and you start taking it in and you start speaking it on yourself, then that thing becomes real. But when you speak against it and you affirm yourself and you speak life, Oh, she's muted.
She's only muted for a moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
I'm good. The kids
I want her to tell her, it's amazing that you said everything you had to say. Hey, because everything you said calculates exactly to her son.
Wow.
Go ahead, Miss Levine. Go ahead, put it out there. Tell them how they counting them out. Tell them about my boy. Tell them how great my boy is. Go ahead, tell them about it.
Look, I don't even know where to start.
So
in the I'm about to say in the NICU, they really had said from the beginning that they didn't even think he was going to live. I remember because of the job that I was at, the health insurance that we had was through the job. So because I had left the job because I chose to stay in the NICU with him, the insurance, we didn't have insurance. So the doctor was like, you no longer have insurance for him, and he's in the NICU, and we need you to get him some insurance. So he didn't have a social security number yet. So I went to the social worker at the time and I asked him, for the paperwork so I can go get his social security card. And the social worker said, well, we don't know if he's going to live, so we didn't give you the paperwork yet. So I nicely said to him, I don't know what you mean by that, because the God that I serve said that my child is going to live. And so I went to another staff member and I said, well, he won't give me the paperwork because he said that he doesn't think my son is going to live, because Jordan had oxygen. They wasn't sure if he was going to be able to see. They wasn't sure he was having heart problems, so he had a cardiologist following him. And it was weird because the same medicine that he was taking in the NICU was the same medicine that my aunt that was like in her 60s, 70s was taking. He was taking water pills. He was taking blood pressure medicine. Like he was like, it was small dosages, but he was taking like the same medicine. Like she was saying the medicine. I was like, wait, that sounds like what the baby taking. And they just said that they didn't think that he was going to live. And so the other staff member gave me the paperwork, and I went and got him his social security card. And he stayed in the NICU for 101 days. They actually threw him like a little party because he made it to 100 days. And he was supposed to come home like the 99th day, but I guess he wanted to, because the longest that a child had been there was 99 days. So I guess he wanted to, make a grand appearance because he was supposed to go home the 99th day. He started beeping and machines going off, and they was like, we can't send him home because we don't know what's going to happen when he get home. So he stayed for extra 2 days. So he stayed in there for 101 days, and he came home with a monitor. But I was just glad that he was home, because originally, as the parent, you always assume that you're going to leave with your child from the hospital. And so when they said it was time for me to get discharged, I was like, well, he coming with me, right? And that was, that was the 3 days in. And they was like, no, Mom, he's going to be here for a while. So he was born in June, but didn't come home to the end of September. I went every single day. I only missed one day. And the one day, I didn't even miss it. I just went later on that day. The one day that I did go late was the day that my baby shower was originally supposed to be planned. So my baby shower was planned in August. So I went in August. I went to the baby shower, and we got there like 11:30 that night. And one of the moms was like, is that your baby? And I said, yes, that's my baby. She said, he cried all day. And I was like, oh, don't tell me that. She said, he cried all day. I said, because I'm normally here like a job. I'm here from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. I'm here all day long. Like, it got to the point that the doctors and nurses was asking me to go get something to eat before I get sick, because I didn't want to leave his bedside, because I didn't know what was going to happen to him. And then fast forward to when they started saying that he needed the feeding tube. I fought that to I couldn't fight it no more, because they were saying that he needed it when he was 2. I said, well, is there anything else that we could do? So we were doing the Ensure. We was doing the Pediasure. They kept talking about steroids. I said, I don't want to go that route yet. So he was drinking the Pediasure, and one day he just took it and threw it across the room, and he didn't drink it. And he lost weight so quick. And the doctors is like, if you don't get him a feeding tube ASAP, he's going to have to stay in CHOP for a long period of time. So I went home and talked to his dad, and we decided, we was like, okay, we'll do it. By this time I was pregnant with my youngest, and the doctors explained to me that once we'll show you how to do the feeding tube, and you're the one that has to do it. And I was like, so I don't bring them to the hospital like every week? Like, they like, no, if it comes out, you put it in. So they trained us how to do it, and it was supposed to be changed monthly. So every month that I had to change, so he had like the NG tube. So it went down his nostril, down into his throat, into his stomach. I had to give him his feeds. So then he was getting feeds during the day and at night. And so when the machine would go off, I was the one that had to get up and go get it. Fix it, make sure he's straight. If something happened in the middle of the night, I was the one that had to take him to the emergency room to make sure he was, taken care of. His first 5 years, we pretty much lived that CHOP. Like, he had pneumonia, he had a whole bunch of stuff. He had scarlet fever. Like, it was just like, we went through so much the first 5 years, that after the 5 years, and then I had his little sister, I was like, I ain't been to CHOP yet. Like, it was because we was always there. And then, he still has the feeding tube, but we're like, now we have like such a support system. We have a nurse that comes. She comes during the day. She comes overnight. She does his feeds. She gives him his other medication. So now I had to I had to let go of those reins and make sure that somebody else could take them on. And I only did it in the midst of my storm, because I still thought I could still do everything. I still thought I could deal with the storm that I was going through, deal with his health, deal with my health, deal with the 2-year-old. Like, I really thought I could still do everything, until I started losing sight of myself in sight of what I was going through until I I almost lost it, like mentally, like to the point where I was like, you gotta let somebody else do this. Because if you don't, you're going to be sick and you're not going to be here.
Mm.
And that's when I was like, I need help. Like, because before, if I had applied for the nurse care with the medical, they would deny it because they was like, well, you're working, but the hours that you're not working, you're there for him. So they was like, well, you could continue to do the feed. Like, I literally had to tell them what I was going through personally for them to approve the nurse care.
Wow.
And then they was like, oh, like they was like, oh, okay, well, she needs nurse care now. I literally had to go through every detail of what I was going through personally for them to say, okay, like she needs it. She can't do everything right now. And like I said, I was still trying to do it all, do church, do praise dance, do family. If you name it, I was still trying to do it.
But that's what we do.
I know. And then I really had to learn that through that whole thing. I really had to learn how to ask for help. Because it was, and even sometimes, like I said, God would just send those special, I call them angels. God would send them angels where even if I didn't ask for help, like they would just step in and be like, what do you need? And just in conversation, because of course my ego and my pride again, I don't say what I need. And then they'll just, in conversation, well, do the kids have, or do the kids, what do the kids need? And then I'll tell them what the kids need. And then they would provide it for them. Like when we separated in the apartment that we was in, we ain't had no furniture. My kids was sleeping on air mattresses. Because in my head, I was like, I'm not furnishing this place because we're not going to be here long. And somebody was like, well, your kids need somewhere to sit down and they need somewhere to sleep. And like, they need a bed. I'm like, but in my head, I'm like, no, we're not furnishing it. They're like, no, you did. And sure enough, they got a bed. One of my, I didn't even know her for a long time. I think we only known each other for like 6 months. She went out and got like furniture and sheets and stuff for my kids. Like it was a struggle mentally, physically, just for me to even process what was going on. Because if something happened, I always like, oh, okay, well, I'll go get some resources here because I used to work as a social worker too. So I knew how to go get the resources. But it was so different because I'm the one going to go, I knew how to give out the resources, but it was different because now I'm receiving the resources. Like even now we're going through a program now with family therapy so the kids can get therapy for, what they went through. And the the gentleman that we working with, he always be like, how you know this stuff? Because most people don't know, what to do or how to ask. And I'm like, because I used to do your job. Like seriously, I used to do your job. Like, and now I'm just on the other side. So I know, what the expert for my family, and right now I know they need it. So I'm asking for all the help that I can. But it took a while for me to process that and to get to that point where I had to like literally ask for the help.
But you know what? It had to happen. You had to go through them mountains. You had to go through them changes. Because had you not gone through that, you would not know what you know. You wouldn't understand what you understand. You wouldn't be able to assist and be where you need to be now. Because you're going to meet some other people that's going to go through the same situation. And they're not going to know what to do. And you're going to stand right there and be like, okay, you're going to do this and do this and do that. But then not only that, somebody's going to look at what I said when you first started. You that well put little book that's in the shelf perfectly fit among everybody else until they pull you out and realize your worth and what all it comes with you and inside. It had to happen. When you talked about that story about so I posted it. When you count it out, but you got a praying mother. Am I still here? I hope I'm still here because it's like Kim is still here. Are we still here? All right, y'all. So it looked like we're experiencing technical difficulties. We're gonna find out if that's the situation, and you can always tell when we're having technical issues because of the mere fact of things start going wrong because it don't want to be heard. It don't want to be heard. I never forget when they told me that my sons, both my sons, they counted both my sons out. But I ain't got time to tell you their whole story. But just know that there's a story. And everybody that knows Jared, to know Jared from the beginning and now, and for everybody that knows Justin, but to know Justin here and now, Justin is that one that rebuttals everything that is said pertaining to being counted out. Because the doctors tell him he can't do this, and he says, well, I don't care. I said, but baby, your condition says this, and the car it got this amount of horsepower in front of it, and you want me to get in the car with you and trust you to be able to do what you do? He said, if you're not going to trust me, trust the one who you told me to trust in and know that I'm going to be all right. I said, well, why don't you just wait until Jared finished school, and then Jared can create that car and give you the customized car that you're going to need, so you ain't got to worry about doing all that. He said, no, you need to trust me to give me the opportunity to at least try. Let me find out that it can't be done. I said, but the doctors ain't going to let you get it done. He said, all right, well, let's just try and see if I'm going to be able to convince the doctors to let me have it. And I'm now today at the position where I can say, okay, because I'm mom. And I've been protecting you from everything that they said you could not do. I fought hard for Jared, even went back to college just to beat the social guidance person. Because I knew what she was doing wasn't right, but I didn't have the proof. But by me going to school and find out what I needed to know, I was able to come back to her and not only tell her she was doing wrong, but I was also in the position that everybody else she did wrong was able to get fixed and redeemed and recovered and restored. And you know, you that happens, and you're put in that position. But again, it had to happen because anytime some other child comes along, we get the opportunity to tell them, look, this is what you do. This is what you have to do. This is how you can fix it. Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good. And you know, so that's how you can have that smile, whether it's a full one or a half one. The half one usually means you just don't know who you talking to. That one, I love that one. That one right there, even I do that smile, and I love it because I look at them and I say, you look at me, you really think everything is golden. If only you knew it was hair dye. You know, like
if only they knew.
if only. It's at that point, I want to remake Pay the Bell song. If only you knew.
That's why I type so much. You don't know my story. Like you just don't. Like you,
okay.
Like you said, like you, if like my kids can tell you, and then sometimes I'll be like, no, don't say that, because it's not, it's not meant for everybody to know. But you just don't know my story, and
my spiritual godparents, I have two. I've been blessed. Burton Pryor and Mona Pryor. Burton brought the song, and the song said, "If only you knew." But he turned it around and said, "But if only you knew not only what I've been through, but what's in store for you, you would be dancing." You know.
Come on now.
I'm just saying, and it brings me right back to Donnie McClurkin. I need my nails done. Why didn't y'all tell me I really need my nails done?
Sidebar.
Donnie, look, you know how you look down and you look at your nails, you're like, ooh.
Commercial break.
No, I couldn't do it. No,
it just slid right in there. Like I need to know.
No, let me tell you why I don't need. I really needed to fix. I needed to fix this now without a commercial break. Because if I go and put my fingers back up at the screen again, somebody going to zoom in and be like, "Oh my God, did you see her nails? What was she doing with her? What's in her hands? Is that?"
No, look, I'm about to say, don't worry, because I don't never get mine done. So
Ever.
Look, I didn't need them done, but I for darn need them. Something they need done.
Well,
Anyway,
her people know how to do them, so
yeah, right. Quarantine told me that too. So I guess that's the reason why I noticed that something was wrong with him. But Donnie McClurkin was like, when the woman came up to him and said, "I want to be just like you," and he said, "Well, come on, let me pray for you." And then when he prayed for her, he said, "I hope that she Yes, Denise, really. And people are that petty. They will zoom into my live and they will take a picture of my nails and then they will post it and they will laugh about it. But anyway, he said, "Come on, let's pray." And when he said, "Let's pray," he prayed about everything that happened to him. He said, "I hope that she gets raped. I hope that she can make it through. I hope that, people will scandalize her name." And she poured her hands back and said, "What's wrong with you?" He said, "You said you wanted to be like me. So in order for you to be like me, you got to go through what I went through." Some people, if you only knew to not want to be like anybody else, and for the point that God would say, "Oh, okay, if you think that you can handle it better than they can handle it, let me take it off of them and put it on you, and then you do it." That's why I don't judge nobody. That's why I don't sit there. I don't talk about nobody anymore. Not that I did, but I noticed that indirectly I was. Because you know how you sit there and you say, "Man, did you see that dress she had on?" "Yeah, I seen it, girl." You judging somebody, you talk about them. Don't do it. Don't go there because you don't know why she got that dress. You don't know how she got that dress. I'm just saying.
That goes right in the line when it says, "Touch not my anointed," right?
Oh, because you have no idea who is anointed.
You don't realize in order to be anointed, there's a crushing that happens. There's some stuff that happens and for that anointing, for that oil to flow.
And let me tell you about that thing you talk about right now, that crushing. See, we only look like fine wine because we were some grapes that was really crushed.
And not only that, Shona, but it's always a continuation.
Continue. You mean tell me he not done?
No. When you take that last, that's when it's done.
Let me tell you how I look at it. Let me tell you how
you like, oh, every time you turn around it's something else.
Yep.
One thing after another.
Yes, Lord.
Oh, I'm just coming out in another. Why me? Why you? Why? Because you. It's for you.
Yep.
So my thing is, you don't know my crushing. You don't know everything that I've been through. So pardon me. You might not like how I talk. You may not like how I walk. You may not like the decisions that I make, but you don't know why I do what I do and how I do what I do.
Go ahead, Stevie. You want to do? I do what I do. What I do. How I do.
All in the dues.
Yes.
It's all in the dues. Paying your dues.
Damn.
When you're anointed, you pay your dues.
Damn.
Period. There are I'm not gonna say so many.
Like I had to stand up on that.
I do know a few people who wanted to know why I'm Taria Kim Wilson. Why her? Why y'all choose her? Or I don't like how she talked. And I had people who didn't like me. I had no clue. Because I'm walking around thinking, I don't have no enemies. I don't do that to nobody. I just do my life. I'm a lover. I love people. But you don't like me? Like, what I do to you? It wasn't what I did to you. It was your perception of who I was. You're measuring how I move according to what and how you think I should. Or your desire is to have or do something that I am doing that you have not been able to do. But that's not my fault. But I'm not at fault. I'm in the process.
But wait, Kim. It goes even better. You ready for this? They're not built for what you got to do and where you get ready to go. So that's why.
That's what I was about to say.
They
That's
better
what I was
watch
about to
out
say.
because they're not built. Let me tell you something. What do we post all the time? I was built for this. And that comes with the problems that come in my life. That's why I was able to walk over, because I was built for this. And you know why you was built for this? Because it goes back to the conversation we said before. It was already computerly implanted in your mind of what was going to happen and what was going to do. And you was given the assignment. So look, Cinderella and Cinderfella, if it was supposed to be your shoe for you to walk in, you would have been granted the shoe. But go ahead, Kim. Go ahead.
Just because you wear the same size shoe don't mean that you got my feet to put in it.
You see that I got socks on versus shoes don't mean it because I don't want to walk in my steps no more. It just means I'm being comfortable in how I'm stepping.
You better be careful trying to wear somebody else's shoes, man.
No, you better be careful how you talking about how somebody wears their shoes. You better be careful how you talking about somebody who's wearing their shoes. I'm just saying, because the way I'm walking in my shoes and the way I'm stepping in my shoes, you have no idea how I'm being able to do what I do. I was looking at a video that I did, and some of y'all can go back and y'all can check it. It's on my page. 2016, I was at Treasure. And one of my girlfriends caught me doing this, one of my favorite line dances. 2016, I was killing it. Girl, 2020, my sciatic nerve going to be like, I dare you to drop down and do that pump again. I dare you. And watch how you don't get up. Again, just because it looks like my walks are strideless, just because it looks like I'm floating, don't mean I am. But it's not for you to judge it. It's for you to see it for a reason. There's a reason for you to see it. It's either supposed to let you know you can make it too in your stride, or it may make you check out your stride. I'm just saying. But talking about striding.
Levine, you done started something, sister girl.
Talking about striding.
Sister girl.
You ready to hear about her next stride?
I'm listening.
Trying to take care of your kids, trying to take care of your mom in the middle of your storm. Yeah. You want to tell that story too?
Yeah. So I'm one of those, if my family members are sick, I'm the one that, well, I just personally, they don't even act.
See?
Every time we're supposed to be delivered, technology comes and disturbs the peace. Let me tell you something. There's going to come times in your life, and let me just encourage some of y'all. Let me just encourage some of you. There's going to come a chance in your life where nothing you can do is right. Everything is wrong. But yet, you're always the one that they can depend on. You're always the one they can call on. You're always the one that's going to be able to do it. Don't be discouraged by that. Know that a double blessing is in store for you as a result of that. Because there's a reason why everything happens the way it happens, which we won't understand now. We won't see it now, but eventually we will see it. And when we do, we're not going to want to turn around and look back. We may want to look back just to go, that was you who brought me through.
Listen, you made me think of something. So you know how the elders sing the song, I'll understand it better by and by?
Get out of my head. I was getting ready to start singing.
Listen, and when I think about that, I think about, for example, John Lewis. We know we lost a major treasure in the African American community and in the country. He was a part of the freedom movement. He allowed himself to be beaten, to be bruised. He walked, he bled, he was imprisoned. He went through it. His life was threatened, like the whole nine. And even until 2020, so you're talking like the 1960s all the way to 2020,
Mm-hmm.
he was still at the forefront, sacrificing, pressing, pushing, fighting for the people. And when I look at his life, he didn't totally understand the why. But for him to look back over all of those decades of work and push and fight, and it didn't feel good. But he made history. He's an icon for our community.
But you know what else, Kim?
He carried a lot of people on his back.
Yes, he did. Yes, he
He
did.
carried us on his back.
But it goes deeper than that, Kim. He did it for people he didn't know.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about.
He didn't even know who he was doing it for.
But think about this. Our ancestors did the same thing.
Hello.
They prayed for us, hoped for us, didn't even know us at that time because we weren't born yet. All they knew that there is a future to come.
Say it, rewind it, bring it back, Ace Ventura style. The dish, the blue stiplet. Say it again.
Our ancestors prayed for us, hoped for us, even though they didn't know us because we weren't born. But they knew that we were to come.
They knew.
So it's really one of those things where, like, right now, everything that I do, I don't have children, but I have poured into the lives of thousands of children. So their children are going to reap some of the benefits of what I've poured into their parents.
Now, that's a core right there, what you said. And the core that you said was, I have done something for someone else to benefit and reap. See, today we got a lot of things backwards. We're reaping for soul self receiving. And we have to understand it's the ones that got that smile. That's the reason why they got that smile, because they the ones that's trying to work it the front way. It's almost like we cross our hands, right? We cross our hands like this. But then you got somebody else who crossed it like that. But they don't like it crossed that way because that's not the way it's crossed. That's how they've always been. You've always been on the receiving side, feeling as though somebody owed you something. You were supposed to get something. You were supposed to own something. You belonged at the top, and this was the only way you was going to get it. So you had to step on some people to get up there, and you pulled down some people to get up there, and you walked on top of some people to stand up there, just so you could say that you was somebody. But let me tell you something. That's not the somebody I want to be, because I got to look back on my little dash and remember that's what made me. Are you serious? No, what makes you is what you do for others, not wanting something back in return. What makes you somebody is doing what's the right thing for others, not when you're thinking solely about yourself. When it's all about you, you need to reevaluate the situation of why you're doing what you're doing, because everything in this life is not about you. You can think it is all day, all night, but it's not about you. It's not about you. It's not about you. Somebody is watching you so they can get through. Somebody is watching you so they can learn the right thing to do. Somebody is watching you so they can know what to do. So the question should turn around and say, how you looking? How you looking? How you looking?
There you go.
I mean, if they didn't want me to tell the story,
No, they didn't want you to tell it, but we told it. We told it. We sure did tell it.
I said, well, wow. Like, what happened? So my Wi-Fi like just cut off. So yeah, so y'all shared the story. So yeah, so I'm the type of person.
Story. We didn't share the story, but we do need to make a disclaimer. So the disclaimer is going to happen because when she starts telling her story, Kim really going to want to blow up. I'm trying to tell you. And also, he didn't allow me to say it earlier, so I'm gonna say it now. Kim, happy birthday, sweetheart.
Thank you.
All of us.
Happy birthday.
So all of us from the No BS Duo Show, you know how much we love you. And part of us couldn't be as a result of you. And we are appreciative and so grateful and blessed to have you. And we're praying the favor of God to be bestowed upon you, be granted in every door that you walk, every foot that you step, every room that you cover, that it be blessed and anointed and returned to you as God has prospered it to be, and wishing you many, many, many more years for us to celebrate you. So happy birthday, love. Also, all of y'all who know the world of prayer that is on the prayer line here, make sure y'all pray for Kim's mom. Because, you know, we don't know what's going on. As a matter of fact, how about we just pray, period? Because when you pray, period, you cover everything because we don't know what's going on. We have no idea why or what is and who, and we just don't know. But we do know somebody who do know. And when we put it in his hands, we know that we cover. We know that it is covered. And we know that he has the final say of deliverance, how it should be delivered. We just pray endurance over you. And we just ask everybody, just keep Kim's mom in prayer and keep Kim in prayer as well. And also keep Bonnie Boo's mom in prayer too. And matter of fact, keep my mom in prayer too, because she lived with me and I live with her. I think I wasn't going to break up this monotony. I'm just saying it was getting a little bit emotional and teary in here, and I wasn't going to cry again. And I'm so glad the first time that tear didn't drop. I held it. I held it. I held it. Okay, so tell us about Mama.
So when she first got sick, I was working a full-time job, so I took a family leave of absence from the job so that I could make sure that she was taken care of. But my mom is a tough cookie, so
Yes,
she's hard-headed. But I, as the only girl, because I have two other brothers, but I'm the only girl. And that's mom. So I just make sure I'm there as much as possible. So and then eventually, like she actually moved in when I was pregnant with Jada, moved in with the family, and she wound up staying because of her health. So she stayed for about 5 years, and then we left from where we were staying at because of personal issues, and then now I'm living with her. So that's why my hand went up when you said that. Because we in transition stage. But it's like I love my mom to death. So when her health was failing, and out, I felt like I needed to be there to make sure I was there for her. So right now I don't know if she's gonna get mad because I'm about to say this, but like she's on dialysis 3 times a week. And like I said, that's why I said she a tough cookie and she hard headed because she go when she want to go, and I'm like, Mom, you can't do that. Like when you go in, like we just had this conversation earlier, because she like, I don't like it, I don't like the machines, but I'm like, you got to change your mindset. That's another reason why I started posting that on my post too. Like just change your mindset. Go in there and thank God for God blessing the people that's running the machine so that you're gonna be here another day. Like, don't just say, I don't like the machine. Because as soon as you get up and say that, then guess what? Your mindset going to be, let's bother with her body. Let's raise her blood pressure. Let's do this. Let's do this to her. So when she get there, then they think that she's sicker than what she is. I said, but if you speak the word of God over you before you leave. You pray before you leave, and you thank God for those people that's in there. Cause some of them nurses in there, they be looking out for her. They be calling my phone like, your mom not here yet. Where she at? Or the doctors is calling me like, your mom didn't do this. Like, that's the fact that, cause you rarely get a doctor or a nurse that care about you that much that they calling your children about you. So if that's happening, then that means you need to change your mindset and do, because it's something that you need to do here on earth, because you're still here, number one, and you being blessed with people that's serving you like that, because they're serving you. Jada lifting up the shade. That's why I'm like, why I get so bright? They're serving you right now. That's their passion, that's their drive, and whether you like it or not, that's giving you a chance to be here for another day. So we just literally had that conversation this morning. So like Shauna said, just keep her in your prayers. She probably kill me when she see this and see that I was talking about her, but I love her to death. That's my mom.
That I said, if she don't want me to send Jared to come take care of her, she better get on that dialysis machine. But then again, she might want Jared to come help her. She made a whole. Let me tell you how tough that little cookie is. Because ain't nobody ever did this to me and got away with it. She made a whole cake, pie, not once, but twice, maybe 3 times even. Wait, but let me paint the picture a little bit better. So it's 4 people in the house. Okay? 4 people. Me, Jared, Justin, and my mama. And sometimes it was 5 when Shania came over. That tough cookie made a pie just for Jared. Nobody else. And we looking like, where's our pie? Can we get some of this pie? She made it just for her Jared. I was like, how you gonna make a pie for one person in a house full of 4 people? Oh no, we got a problem. So when I went to her the next time, she had a nerve to say to me, this is for Jared and Jared only, and looked up at me and dared me to say, well, what about me? So I said, okay. She said, nobody's supposed to get any of this except for Jared. Now, what Jared decided to do with it is what Jared decided to do with it. But this is Jared's pie. I was like, well, dang. What about, I thought the love was here. I do. But this is still his pie. I was like, oh. Let me leave this short woman alone. Because anybody who knows anybody knows that shorty rolls don't play. Shorty rolls don't play.
No.
But you're right. I often say to people, we have to and that goes beyond saying, because we really got to change our mindset and change our ways of thinking, because we look at things from one perspective. And like you said, she's on dialysis. Okay. Somebody want to get on dialysis. Somebody wish that they could be able to get on dialysis. So look at the fact that you're being blessed that you can even get on dialysis. I got to change the subject for a minute. Y'all going to laugh. Do y'all remember last year when I got attacked by the squirrel? No.
When you see our faces, it's like.
So let me tell you about the squirrel. Y'all going to laugh. So I was all of a sudden in my trunk and I had my braids wrapped up. I had my little ponytail thing going on. And all of a sudden something said, blue, blue. So I'm looking and I looked at my arm and my arm is scraped up and I looked on the ground like it was a little ball, but I thought maybe it popped out of my trunk because I was in my trunk. The little mother sucker unfolded and was a squirrel. And I looked and it looked at me and I looked at it and it looked at me like I did something. And then it walked away and turned back around and looked back at me again. Like I did something. And I'm looking like, but you fell on me and grabbed me and ripped me up. So what made me mad about this was because I had just left the hospital from getting treatment. And now I had to go to the ER and get a shot because of now the squirrel. So remember, 2019 was a whole mess for me, right? And now I got attacked by a squirrel, really? So I'm thinking like, why did I get attacked by the squirrel? So I'm thinking, well, maybe it saw my hair. I thought it was a nest. But then I was like, wait a minute, birds do the nest and the hair thing with squirrels. Squirrels don't do that. So I'm looking up on the little poles in the trees. I'm figuring maybe he fell off the tree because our trees do reach across the block. I'm like, no, that didn't happen, or maybe it did. And then I looked at the wire because they always running on the wire. So I figured maybe he must have swung and fell off and he fell in the car and then fell on me. Never saw the squirrel again. But I did make a national decree, and I said it very loudly on my block, that the Geico commercial was going to be changed. And if I drive up the street and see any squirrel, I was going to run it over. So I didn't see squirrels for a while. Well, you may say, what's the point of you telling me about the squirrel? Well, look, mother sucker just came back today, like to say, oh, I remember you. Because it was standing in front of me. Mind you, it was a squirrel that kept going over to my car. And I'm like, why does the squirrel look like it's trying to get in my car? Because they climb up in your cars. So I'm looking like, what's going on? I'm looking because I haven't seen no squirrels around in a while since I did that disclaimer, right? And all of a sudden it came and stood in front of me on its hind legs and looked at me like to say, hey, I remember you. And I'm like, I know you ain't the one that fell on me and gonna come and announce yourself and let me know that you. He better be lucky I was right here on the live, because I would have just jumped up and grabbed my bag and just started swinging.
I have a question.
With squirrel.
What's the lifespan of a squirrel?
I don't know, but that lifespan look like it needs to go.
Does it last? Does it last a year?
Does it?
I don't know. I think that's something worthy to be looked into.
So what you think?
It may have been his son.
No.
He done told the story.
Maybe.
Your make model of your car.
You tell your kids a story about not a good situation. So that's all the kid knows about the person. The person presents themselves. That's all the kids know. So the kids be like,
look, maybe we'll write a book about it. Doggone nasty behind.
So LeVon, right? So whenever Shauna gets other authors on the page, she always starts talking about writing a book, right? So I was the first one. She's like, well, I was thinking about writing a book. I'm like, hello, write a book. Then we got somebody else that was the author. She's like, well, I was talking about writing a book. I'm like, well, write your book. You're the third one. So now, once is cool. Twice is, oh, okay. 3 times a charm. Shauna, I'm calling you out.
And I'm going to answer that. The book ain't going to happen. Don't look for it. Ain't going to happen.
So it's going to be a play? Would you say it's going to be a play?
It's going to be a documentary.
Or either way, write it, because you got to write it. You got to write the vision, whether it's a book, a documentary, or a play.
No, the documentary is going to be like an interview. I'm going to sit in the chair like this. And we're going to talk about it.
So it's going to be transcribed, is what you're saying. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. And I'm just going to answer questions. It's going to be like a documentary interview.
You're going to do a Tupac on us.
Yeah.
That's what she's going to do.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
I'm fine with those, because they turn into books. Somebody else just write them.
Yeah, there you go. I'll sit and somebody else can write it. All right, Sharon, you heard me. Sit, you gonna write it? I'm gonna tell it, okay? Sharon Moyner or Kim.
Listen, I'm all about my business. We can talk business.
Look, I believe it or not, I really want to make it a play. You know why I want to make it a play? Because I want my gospel singers to come up. I want my groups to sing that I used to work with. I want them to get and become one big choir. I want them to sing. And then I want my praise dancers. I want them to dance.
2022?
And then,
2022?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that sounds about good. That give me time to get everybody together. And that give time for LaVon to get her choreography together for the praise dancers and get my girls together, because she got to call all my praise dancers. Yeah.
Okay, we'll see how that works. Because
I
ain't been dancing all year.
Together with the dancers. And I got
Once the dancer always time out.
Go get her. Go get her.
A dancer on the line, boo boo.
Go get her. Go get her. Go get her.
Once a dancer, always a dancer. A dancer can even dance from their chairs. A dancer can even tell people how to do something from their chairs. So
there you go. There you go.
Somebody how to bop from my chair. How many bop classes have I taught from my chair? Okay. See, I'm that type of person. If I tell you I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do something. I don't like to go back on my word. So somebody had asked me to teach them how to do the bop. And at that time, I couldn't because, my legs. So I sat in my chair and showed them what to do. And they got it. They even got a signature to it. I'm like, yo, they almost swing that thing better than me. I'm just saying. But, so if all of y'all who are tuning in, we're on the line with LaVon McMillan Smith. And it's all about what we look through and what we look at. And as I described, she looked like this nice little book that sits on the shelf. Just little something until you open her up and the volume that comes out of her is immaculate to the point that I believe that we needed to tell her story because there are some women out here that are overwhelmed and they don't know how we're able to smile and they're not. And they're wondering how they're going to be able to smile like us going through what we done been through. So we're here telling her story of basically the testimony of letting you know that, yes, you can make it. So can you. And if y'all notice, that's been our theme song. That, yeah, you can make it. However you need to get it, you can make it. Sometimes, we call the psychic. Sometimes we call our best friends. Sometimes we call our mothers. But I've learned that they become like Charlie Brown's teacher after a while. We become immune to their voices of the walks. And we don't hear them anymore. But you're logical to hear somebody else's story who looks like you, who sounds like you, maybe walk like you, and to see them make it through may inspire and encourage you to believe that you too can get through. So that's what we're doing with Miss LaVon here today. Because as we stated, Miss LaVon wrote the book. She had the son where she had to learn how to become the hospital. And not only that, just to let you know, he was born in what year? 19 what?
He was born 2007.
So even in 2007, we were still fighting. We were still fighting to get insurance. That somebody can deny you just because of the mere fact that they think you're not going to make it. Talk about being counted out. How dare you sit there and say, I'm not going to give you insurance because you may not make it the next day. What it sounds like to me is you don't think you're going to get paid. That's why you didn't want to give the insurance. But that's another story we'll talk about on another day. But there's another unvolume that we must open up here because we need to understand the book. How did the book come about?
The children's book, because I am in a collaboration book, but the children's book came about. I'm in a mentor group, and one of the mentors. So I don't know if y'all hear the kids going off in the background. They
quarantine.
So one of the mentors has shared that you can. I was about to say you muted Kim if you wanted us to hear you. Y'all pray for him. Y'all pray for him. So.
I'm sorry. So people are working from home with their kids.
Yes.
So you can call a company, AT&T, whatever it may be.
And you hear the dog barking.
Hello, thank you for calling PGW. How may I help you?
Honey, you said you're some beers in the refrigerator.
I was about to say, I don't know if y'all can see my eyes through the glasses because I was like trying to talk to them with my eyes. Like, y'all see, I'm doing this. Like, stop what y'all doing. I can't even talk because y'all making noise in the background. But you hear your hugaboo? That's your hugaboo making that sound.
Is that her really going off like that?
Yes, I told y'all. Y'all really don't know Jada. Y'all really don't know my story. Jada is a piece of work. You hear?
Tell her the whole world can hear her because I have
The whole world just heard you, Jada.
Tell her I have her on the internet, so they're gonna believe
She
that.
has you on the internet. But I don't know. Maybe y'all need to do a commercial break or something. I'm gonna go calm this down real quick. I'm sorry, y'all.
Yeah,
I gotta put my mommy hat on. Sorry.
Hey, put it on. Put it on.
We wear many hats. Welcome to the Sister Chat. There are many days when you might be a little outsourced, oversourced, and outstretched. And there are times when you just have to shut it down. They handle y'all business when the kids is going crazy. So, that being said, we are on our commercial break.
So while we're on our commercial break, let's go ahead and speak about the disclaimers because we must let you know about our disclaimers because it just wouldn't be the Sister Chat on the normalcy if we did not let you know that what we say and how we feel doesn't mean that it has to agree with you. It's just how we said, but our truth don't have to be your truth. It's like a smorgasbord. If you want it, eat it. If not, treat it like a golden corral. Go to the next opening and get yourself a plate that you can.
Do the meat or spit out the bone.
So, with that being said, and we also know when the birthday girl, Kim, start doing this, or that means she about to blow and she got something to say.
I've got something to say.
So talking about something to say, she's back.
Wow.
Go ahead.
Tell us about it. And when he's done with the pause, when he's done with the pause, when he's done with the pause.
Done.
I'm back, y'all. I'm back. Okay.
Go ahead. Lay it on.
I forgot what the question was because I had to take off the hat.
What happened to the book? How did the children come about?
All right. So I was in a mentor group, entrepreneur group, and the mentor had shared that that's one way to gain build your brand as well as monetize. So one of the other members was in there. She wrote her book, and she started mentoring other women to write their book. So I kept seeing her posts come up. So I had reached out to her. So she helped me through the process. But I'm gonna be honest with y'all, through the process, I was still trying to get out the process. Like I was like, write the book. And then she asked me what I wanted to write about. And when I shared that I did a collaborative book with Erica Gilchrist in Chicago, that book actually is the title of my business. So that book I turned down 3 times being a part of the book. So the first time she had did like this, she asked a question, and if you answered the question, then you won like a prize from her. And then she had sent the prize, and then she asked me to be part of the book, and I said no. And then she contacted me again, and I said no again. And then she contacted me a 3rd time, and I was like, well, wait a minute. If she contacted me 3 times, then this something, but I ain't got nothing to write about. At least I thought. I was like, I ain't got nothing to write about. I said, I'm just a mom with a baby who was born early, and that's about it. Like, I don't have nothing else to share. So she said, well, share that story. So long and behold, that chapter and that collaborative book was titled Advocate for Me. Not knowing that later on that would be the name of my business. Wow. Not knowing that people would title me the advocate. Like, so God had already lined it up. And so that's how the Advocate for Me started. So when I did the children's book, working in the field of early intervention, I saw that Jada and Jordan, I saw that there was a need for teachers and there was a need a resource need for the parents. So I wanted to share their story through children's books. And so that's how the children's book started. And then I was trying to pick out a topic, and I realized that a lot of my children, not a lot of them, but there's a lot of children that was being diagnosed with autism, and a lot of parents didn't know how to process that. And then a lot of early childhood staff didn't know how to work with them in the classroom. So pretty much that's what the story, the children's book is about a child going into child care, and the staff being able to learn different strategies of how to work with them. Like Kim said earlier, that he may have a learning disability, but the disability is not that he can't do it. You as the teacher have to modify your plan in order how to teach that child. So that's what the child advocate in the story comes in to give strategies to the teacher and to the mom of how that child can implement those abilities without having a disability.
That is awesome. Can you, okay. Oh, I know a lot of educators.
Uh-huh.
I know a lot of owners of charter schools.
Uh-huh.
Who struggle because they don't know how. So you get a child who's enrolled, and you look at your list of children that's coming in for the year. You get some backstory on, from what I understand, you get some backstory on the child. It's one thing to get backstory. There's another thing when the child is in your class. So I think it would be good. Like, I already know that most schools have people in place. They have the one-on-ones that help with the process. They have IEPs. They have all those things going on. But I feel like there's still a gap between the IEP, the student, and the teacher.
Yeah, it is. It is.
As much as they try, it's like the IEP is jumping around from different classrooms because they have a caseload. And then the teacher is still left to have to work around the scheduled agenda and all of that stuff. So it's like, how do you really gauge the full need and be able to deliver? And that's one of the problems that I see, that in education with children, specifically with children that have been diagnosed with autism, that's one of the main problems.
And you're right, Tangia. Tangia came on the line. Hey, Tangia, how are you today, honey? And she said the same thing. She said, it shouldn't be that way. And you're right, it shouldn't be. And I recall having that same problem because Jared didn't have autism, and neither did Justin. But both of them had situations where I had to tell a teacher, once you get to know him or know what you're dealing with, then you'll be able to understand. I always, my catch, as Jared would say, my catchphrase for him was, give him 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, you'll know who you're dealing with. Just talk to him for 5 minutes. Anybody that ever had a problem with Jared, I would say, talk to him for 5 minutes. You may not even need the whole 5 minutes, but give him 5 minutes and your whole concept will be different. You'll change. With Justin, I used to tell his teachers would say, well, I don't believe that he needs this programming that you're saying that he's in need of, or the assistance that he's in need of because of his grades. I said, just because his grades say one thing based off them numbers, I said, doesn't mean that the struggle isn't real to get to those numbers. So you have to understand what you're dealing with, because all you seeing is this little boy is bringing in the time and he's bringing it in, but you don't know how he's bringing it in because they're saying that he has an issue. That's because he refuses to fail. He refuses to be defeated by what you say and what you have presented in front of him. And as a result of that, you're actually motivating him. Anytime this boy have no skills at all for football, he knows it from playing the games or seeing the games, was able to call a professional football play before the actual professionals said it. This boy was able to play injured basketball. And because his coach left, knew that according to the role play, it said that he could step in as a substitute youth coach. And for the first time in 15 years, their class was able to win the championship for basketball. This is a boy that you said can't do it. This is the boy, maybe because he can't get it here on the learning, it doesn't mean he can't get it here on the learning. He should be creating and making his own games. This boy break game locks in less than 24 hours of getting the game. It's like, all right, I need to go exchange the game. Dude, we in quarantine. You can't go exchange the game. Yeah, but I didn't beat the game. But then you got to go online and find out what to do. But again, this is the young man that you claim, according to the statistics of where he sits, according to a regulation that you have labeled. Please understand, people. Please understand. I really, really need you to understand. Label and being counted out is the same thing. Okay? When they don't want to deal with you, they categorize you all and put you in all one little group and say, label it as destruction. And there you have it.
I had one student. He was labeled as a behavioral issue.
Yep.
And he was very aggressive. But when he would come to me, I would see the aggression, but I knew how to, like, I established a relationship. I would talk to him on his level. And it got to the point where, like, I would challenge him, like, you're a leader. This is what I see in you. You don't see, because you're doing this, you have 10 other people doing the same exact thing. You're a leader. You're a young king. That's what you are. And he was like, I am. I'm like, yeah. So now whenever he would do something in my class, he would do it and he'd be like, ooh, sorry, Miss Kim. Because I recognized who he was. I spoke life into him. I let him know his capability.
Yep.
And then what would happen was when he would go back to his regular class, when he would realize he was having an issue, he would say, you mind if I go see Miss Kim real quick?
Yep.
You changed his mindset. You changed his mindset of what he heard other people saying. And because you flipped it on him and turned it into a positive, that's why he was able to say, well, wait, she see me something different. Everybody else see me this way, but she sees me as something different. So let me apply what she sees. And that's why he had to come to you every time he started going into that behavior mode, as they say. Because a lot of the time it's not that they don't know how to do it, it's just that somebody just didn't teach them. Because I work with the babies. So I work with the little ones when they first come into school. So when they get there, if you telling them to sit down in the circle, maybe they never sat down in the circle on the floor before. Maybe they only sit in a chair, or maybe their parent let them run around the house all day. You don't know what that situation is. So when you tell them, okay, it's time for circle time, come sit down, and they don't sit down, they're like, oh, he got to get out of my room because he don't know what he's doing. No, like, teach it to him. Once he's taught it, if he's still doing it, and you still have the issues, and you still have the concerns, then that's when the red flags will come up. But if you ain't never teach it to him, and you think he know coming in the door, then that's not the case.
Right.
Gotta be able, again, like you said earlier, see, you had already lined it up earlier about this discussion, is that you gotta be able to be flexible to learn how to teach in their style. We, like y'all said, we all learn differently. Kinesthetic, tactile, visual, auditory, like we all learn different. And if you're not touching all those senses, then I might not be able to learn.
Exactly.
I'm a visual and a auditory learner, but if I don't get both at the same time, I'm a little low. Something missing. I didn't catch it. I can't, like, something missing. And it got to be in the same format, because if it's not in the same format, then I'm in two different places.
You know what's interesting? When I was a kid, I could take snapshots in my brain.
Yes.
Of what I saw, and then transpose that onto a test.
When I praise dance, I listen to the music, and that's how I get to dance, or I dream to dance. I, like you were saying before, Kim, I never went to dance school. I was in a drill team. But other than that, I never went to dance school. When I heard the music, that's how I moved. I moved however the music was going. And that same way in drill team. So if you played some drums, or my body would move to the music. And it would be serious. Same face you got killed right there. That's how my face used to be. Serious. Like serious. And I'm the same way with praise dance. If I hear a song and I visualize something, then I'm like, okay, well, this is how we going, this is how we going to play it. Depending on the numbers, I gotta get it out the way that I visualized it. Because if I don't, then I'm not doing what God sent to me. And then I'm like very adamant about that. Like I'll go find some people in the congregation that sure to know I will do it. Like if I see something and it gotta be this number, I'm pulling people out of the congregation to come join us to do this dance.
Can I tell you about a pull out? Let me say about a pull out. And then first of all, before I tell you about the pull out, let me tell you what Tangia said. So Tangia Smith, she came on, she said, that's why you have to be in control of the classroom. I'm the leader of the pack. And that was my kids. I was the mother that walked into the classroom and said, what did he do? I already know something had happened, and so I was already prepared. But let me tell you about this one right here, pulling out people. So she gave me a project. I gave her a project. She got to the point that she was going to have the last project. She was going to make sure, she wanted to know how was she seeing this move, and the way they was on a table with they was on a table with a sheet, and the way they did it, it looked like she was in the water or something, or she was coming up from out of the water, but she was on a table and they had the water sheet, and she was like, how we gonna do this? She's like, we gonna do it. She's like, showing her. I was like, oh, I gave you the project. How you gonna come after me? She said, because it's your project that's causing for this piece to be right here. So come on.
Like, whatever I saw visually, it had to come to fruition.
And it was so amazing because that cantata was so well put together, and it was so loved, and it was so appreciated. But one person had a problem with it and turned everybody around the year after and said, oh, it wasn't all that. I was like, wow. I said, but the little thing about it, people really didn't recognize what that whole cantata was about the youth.
But the thing is, whoever was supposed to receive it received it that night. It was done. It was finished.
Girls danced their behinds off. Do you hear me? They danced their behinds off. Do you hear me? We collaborated. The praise team, teacher, head of teacher of Sunday school, and the choir and musicians, and put this Christmas cantata together. 12 songs, 2 hours.
Yeah.
We told the story that was never told. The story of today was the story yesterday is the story of today. So we're getting ready to come real close to an end, but I'm still pulling Missy Pooh out. So I decided to let you know the things that made me go, ooh, child, when I looked at Miss McMillan Smith here. Does these words sound familiar to you? Change your language to what if it does work out. Believe in possibilities. Think of the best case scenario. Retraining your mind will lift you higher out of the overthinking, stress, and worry of negative habitual thoughts. Change starts with your mindset. Does that sound familiar?
Did I say that?
This one would make you pull on the brakes and maybe almost cause a traffic jam. Change your mindset. Great money making Monday. But someone asked me, Someone asked me, how can you forgive them?
Now that I
You want to give your reply? Can you please give your reply?
that I did post. That was recent. Yeah, so somebody asked me how can I forgive them? And my simple answer to them was because God forgave me.
Woo! Honey, can
That
you
was it.
wait?
That was it. That
They
was it.
beat you, they stole from you, they took for you, they lied on you, they made you believe that you was the crazy one, you was insane. They made it point so that it was all about you. And you mean to tell me you was able to form your lips and say,
Because God forgave me. But here's the thing. It wasn't easy. Because my flush and I battled with that. Like seriously. It did. I don't the kids starting back up again. But I'ma stay focused on y'all. It wasn't easy. It was a lot of nights where I just wanted to be the other Levine that I used to be when I was younger. And I battled with that so much. But God wouldn't allow me. And I remember having this conversation with one of my family members. And I told them that if the other Levine had came about,
woo,
that God would not have blessed me as much as he has right now. Because it's been time, like I said, just some simple angels come, just some simple angels coming to me when they came to bless my family. That would not have happened. Just the fact of people encountering me. When they say that you walk in rooms that you're not supposed to be in, when I tell you that when I did that children's book, the children's book came out. All I did was put the cover out. And when I tell you people was in my inbox, like I was filled with my calendar was booked, double booked, triple booked every single weekend. And all I did was put the cover up. When I finished that book, like I told you, I tried to run away from it until that mentor said, it's families out there that need you. And because I'm always a helping and a giving person, I said, okay, let me go help somebody's family. So that's how come the book came out when it finally did. Because if it was up to me, I probably still wouldn't have let it came out. Because I'd probably be like, oh, this ain't for me. Oh, nobody needs it. But when she flipped it on me, there go that flipping, because she knew my learning style. She knew I'm a helper. She knew I was a helper. She said, other families need you. Oh, really? Oh, let me finish this book by my birthday. My birthday in January. Let me finish this book by the coming of the year. And when I tell you I posted that picture, somebody was in my inbox the next morning saying, can you come read your book at our daycare center? That's what started it. But when I finished it, I said, God, you told me to write this book. I don't know who this book is for, but I hope it helps somebody. And it's in your hands. That was it. I left it there. That was it. No questions asked, no nothing. Like I said, my calendar was booked all the way up until the pandemic. Even with stuff that didn't even have to do with the book. They're like, oh, we want you to come talk about depression. Or we want you to come talk about domestic violence. And I'm like, how y'all got me talking about I never said nothing about domestic violence or nothing about depression, but I and then learning when I did the domestic violence that it's a form of like financial abuse. Like if you dealing with financial abuse. I heard that on the radio the day before I went to go do the domestic violence. I said, oh, wait a minute. I said, because when you say that, I thought when you said domestic violence, that's Jada that keep turning the light on. But I thought when you said domestic violence, that meant it was physical. I never experienced anything physical. The old Levine may have gave out some physical, but it wasn't like I never experienced it physical. And to have it sought out to me through the radio right before I go to do the event, and I'm on the panel. Like, it's not like I'm sitting in the audience. I'm on the panel talking about domestic violence.
What did I say?
When I say that he opened up doors and led me into places that I thought I would never be, Pyramid Club.
What did I say?
I'm like, this girl got a food stamp card and she in the Pyramid Club.
What did I say?
You gotta be like prestigious to get on a panel or in the building of the Pyramid Club.
What did I say to you? You be at the right place to be where you need to be to do what you have to do.
All I tell them is I'm a vessel, just use me. And
So,
if that means
so what I need you to do for me is what I need you to do for me. I need you to tell me about this business real quick because you said you have a business.
So I have a couple of them. So Advocate for Me, I specialize with working with families who have children, especially with moms who have children with special needs and special healthcare needs. So we offer resources, advocacy, and training. So under it, like the children's book is a resource for them. Right now we're working on pushing out webinars and seminars and one-on-one coaching for families again with who have children with special needs and special healthcare needs. We do have a couple T-shirts that we've done under the business under Advocate for Me, and then I just added I'm an independent contractor, so I work for different companies. But the one that I just added on recently is being a financial coach because of my experience, because of what I personally went through. My mission for myself is to go out and help other families so that they don't go through what I went through. So we talk about emergency savings. We talk about making sure that have life insurance, that your income is properly protected, making sure you have a will. So we go over all that information. And I actually had a financial coach in the midst of my storm that I was going through, but I wasn't listening to it. So now I have the opportunity to make sure that when I go out, and not that she wasn't doing a good job, she was awesome. It was just me. Like I wasn't, that's that whole change in mindset. She was giving me nuggets and pouring into me, but I wasn't receiving it. So now I have the ability to actually go out and do it myself. And I have a personal story behind it. So that's the other piece. So if you go on my page, you'll see like a couple of things going on there. It's like, well, is she special needs? Or is she a financial coach? Or is she a praise dancer? Or is she a mom? I'm whatever God called me to be. Whatever you need me to be. That's why I'm working on a survey now. Because wherever you need that assistance at is where, and if I can give it to you, or if I know who can give it to you, then I'm making sure I'm being that advocate where I can come out and make sure that you receive it.
So it's better, more so the needs that you are considered I am the I Am For You Foundation. The I Am For You Foundation.
So are you giving me a foundation? Wait a minute.
Yep, that is it. The I Am For You
Foundation.
I think I put it right in the comments.
Yeah, write that down. Write that in the comments so we can patent it today.
For You Foundation. And even if it's not a foundation, you can make it incorporation. Because I am for you, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is, So
well, I received that, and I'm going to search it tonight and make sure nobody else has it.
And let me see. I was trying to find something else that you said to me. You are a part of another group, and it's acronyms. What's the acronyms? And another young lady is actually her corporation. And I was teasing you at first, and I said this is what I was going to call you.
Oh, matter of fact, I got my face mask too. Weird girl. Arnetta Williams.
Weird girl, yes. I need to know about the weird girl.
So she has a program where it's called Weird Girl, and each letter from Weird represents an empowerment, like a power, like it's a power word, like wonderful. Jada, hand me my face mask. I'm wearing it. So I make sure I'm saying it correctly.
Let me see. Is wonderful, empowerment, intelligent, resilient, and determined.
That's what it is. So she started the program, and she invited me as one of the guests. Oh, thank you. Jada just gave me the mask. She invited me to be a guest to talk about, special needs, special healthcare needs. I don't know if you guys can see it, so definitely go support her. Weird girl. But so I went and I spoke at the program for them, and the program is amazing. And I told her, I was like, I would Jada in the background talking about something, she want to go again. And I just shared with her that I wanted to be like, I was like, I was a weird girl when I was little. Like I like Shauna described me as a book that could fit on the shelf. Like I was weird. Like I was I could fit in with everybody, but it was just something about me. Like teachers would always say that, and I'm like, what you mean? They were like, it's just something about you. Or people that I would encounter through, school or the community, they were like, it's just something about you. So I never realized exactly what they meant. But
Right.
then when I saw a weird girl, I was like, wait, that's me. I was the weird girl. Like I was special, like special. That's probably why I work with the special kids, because that's me. Like I'm making sure, yep, that's her site right there. She is amazing. Her and her husband, they are amazing when it comes to working with our youth. So definitely reach out to her. She works with the girls and her husband works with the boys.
Okay.
So definitely reach out to them. Her name is Arnetta Williams, and she is amazing. She's a weird girl. But yeah, but that was her brand. Yeah, that was her brand. And I was like, wait. I was like, I am a weird girl, but I'm not the weird girl. Like that was her brand. Yep.
Yeah, because I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I'm like, well, yeah, I guess I could call you weird because when you first met you, wasn't expecting what happened.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, I was not expecting that to happen. Like, standing in the section next to me singing, and you were just quiet little person, just singing, with your hair pulled back, and just standing there like whatever. And you just whatever. And then all of a sudden you was told to dance and you started dancing. And I was like, that was not. I was like, where did that come from? As a matter of fact, that's what I said to you. And you bust out laughing. You was like, I don't know.
Look, I can't explain it. Wherever he give it to me, I move. It's been times where people ask me, like, can you do that dance again? And I'll be like, what dance? Like, like if it wasn't choreographed, and the kids will tell you, like the praise dancer, they'll tell you that when I teach them a part of the dance, I forget it. Because remember I said I see it visual. So once I show you, I no longer have it no more. If you didn't get it the first time, you're gonna have to ask the person next to you. And then I gotta ask them because I don't have it no more. Like it's gone. But yeah, wherever the spirit lead me to do at that moment with the music, then that's what happened.
Well, I'm grateful for your gift. I'm very grateful for your gift. Your gift has blessed and is still blessing. Congratulations on where you're going. And congratulations on what you're doing. And I want everybody to know, if you can, please do support. And for those who is interested in the book is called What About Me? It's $15 on Amazon.
And anyone local, I do have a few copies with me, so I can autograph it. I did send some recently through post office mail, but it's taking a while for my customers to get them. So, but anyone local,
I saw you.
Yes, like
it was some couple of days. Like
it wasn't not even Camden, New Jersey. It was like in Jersey City, New Jersey. Like, why did a book from Philadelphia to go to someone in Philadelphia wind up all the way in Jersey City, New Jersey for 2 days? So like,
you in Philly, to go to Philly, but it went to Jersey.
It went to Jersey City.
That's my Huggaboo. I'm gonna get her.
Yes, that's your Huggaboo. You hear her in the background, like, when this gonna be over?
Tell my Huggaboo, I'm definitely going to get her.
Miss Shauna said she's definitely going to get
you. Yeah,
they getting hungry, so I gotta go take them to get something to eat.
Well, we are closing. I just wanted to make sure that everyone did know about your book and your story, and we are so grateful that you came on the show. Kim had to leave suddenly, which we did know. So please again give Kim your prayers at this moment pertaining to her issue at hand, which we don't need to know what it is, but we know that God knows. And by us knowing that God knows, we place it in his hands, we know that it's going to be handled from there. But also with breaking news, I don't know if anybody is familiar with Malik from the Roots. We lost him today at 47. So please, we're dealing with some hard times, and we're unable to keep that smile on our face. But with that being said, we, again, like we said, and we know who has us in their hands. And by the mere fact of us knowing who's in charge makes it even better and easier for us to bear. So, just keeping that in mind, just keep them in prayer. And let's just keep the families in prayer because they really need us right now. Is there anything else you want to tell us, my dear, before we go?
No, I think Jada telling me the show is over. She done turned off all the lights, closed the blinds. She done made it so dark in here. But thank everyone for tuning in today, and whoever may watch it later. But I just wanted to thank Shauna for reaching out to me and letting me be able to share my story. And like I said before, like, you just pray, ask God to give you the strength and keep moving in his walk, and then whatever it is for your life.
Well, I'm gonna let you go ahead and deal with your mommy thing and tell
yes, because they going off right now.
My Hugaboo, she has really showed me a side that really hurt my heart.
I tried to tell you there's another side of her.
So
and you seen it in the background, right?
I already know. I know Miss Jada. I know Miss Jada real good. There was a reason why Miss Jada was locked out the car. There was a reason, because I told her, "Oh, if you want to act like that, you can't get in my car. We gonna have to go send you through Uber."
Mommy.
Yeah, you
say bye to your husband.
Bye.
Tell her I know how to disclaim the name real quick. Does she want to go back to just being Jada? Because if she wanted me to just go back to Jada and not be my Hugaboo no more, I'm gonna need her to get it together.
You hear Miss Shauna? She too busy turning the lights out and stuff. So I guess I'm done. She talking about bye-bye. So now, but it's been a pleasure, everyone.
Now y'all understand why I didn't need no girls, because I have all my godchildren. All my godchildren are girls, and they remind me every day that we should be grateful to God that there was no Shauna females out here, because then we would really be in trouble. And on that note, here at the No BS Duo Show with the sister chat, we're going to tell you our favorite motivational moment. And always remember, no matter what's happening and what's going on, you can make it. You can make it. So just check it out. Because you know why? This is why.
Information is free. Read it, write it, count it, makes a difference for me. It's all around, everywhere. Open your eyes so you can see.
And guess what, y'all?
Can you make it?
Yes,
Can you make it? Can you make it? I guess I can do it. Can you make it?
All you gotta do is adjust your crown. Just straighten it up just a little bit. Fix your crown, sisters. Here we go.
There's nothing in this world that can keep you from your purpose. No, changing what you set your mind to do. Your mind to do. Availability is within your reach and stretch. No one to blame for your excuse. No one to blame but you.
See you later. Bye.